Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with My Spiritual Friend, and I'm back. It is Sunday, December 12th, 2021. I hope everybody is well. I've already had a busy day. I did an hour reading for a client and her husband who they just recently lost their child, and then a piano lesson, piano, Zoom piano recital. And that's it. So I hope everybody is well. Just a few announcements. On January 11th, I will be opening up my next psychic development circle. You can purchase access to that now. It is limited to 10 people. And it's, if you've done the circle before, you'll get a 20% discount. I'll refund you 20% of the money. So if you've already been in it, you'll pay the full amount up front, but then I'll refund you 20%. I get lots of great feedback, a lot of new people who have never done anything before and thought, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? And every single person has been able to give a full message by the end of the 6-week cycle. They will be Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm doing something called Tea Tarot 2020 and 2022. It's hosted by Kim Kasnov. It's a manifesting workshop out of, I think, South Orange. I'll be there on January 8th, but I'll be giving messages and readings there, as well as another reader. So if you wanted to participate in that, that's January 8th if you're in the area. Hi, Julia. Sure, you just have to purchase your reading. It's $5 a question, and 100% is going to charity this time around. I don't know if I posted that in the description, but okay, I'll check. I'm having an issue trying to log on to PayPal, so that's what was taking me a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I've got to the list after Linda, I've got Allie for one, Allie and Starry Sky. So I'll add those. I also wanted to thank Dan because he donates $20 every single week. And so I just want to thank him for always supporting me. It's very nice of him. Let me add the list. And then Kay, I'm sorry, I have your name in here. Oh, there's KK. Thank you, KK. I wasn't sure if you were here because I didn't email you about this, and I apologize. And yeah. Okay, so what else? Other announcements. Oh, okay, y'all, I always complain about TikTok. I was like, I can't stand TikTok. TikTok. But I started a TikTok. And I actually kind of like it. I still don't like TikTok, the platform. It still is to me like overwhelming, inundating. But I actually like that I get to tell like quick little stories. So I'm doing quick little tidbits on developing your psychic side, your intuition. And I'm also doing stories about like what it's like to be psychic and experiences I've had. So that's sort of what I'm using that platform for. I'm not doing any readings over there. I don't know. So if you like it, the link for that one is below. It's just my_spiritual_friend. That's that. I think that's all the announcements I have. So should we get to the readings? Okay. Louise, are you here? Hi, Lily. It's good to see you. You like TikTok. So this is why I don't like it. So it just feels like I won't ever do filters and I won't ever do music because I find they drive me crazy. The filters drive me crazy. I feel like it took me so long to come out of the psychic closet and get comfortable with who I am. I'm not shading any of this. You're gonna get me just as I am. And the music I always find distracting, or either distracting or it gets stuck in my head for like hours. And I'm like, oh my God, God help me, please help me. So I usually watch it on mute. I know. Okay. Did you get my email about sending a picture for your friend? And I asked that because, or did you get my email? Maybe you can read it and validate any of that stuff. That'd be super duper. Because maybe you didn't respond at all. Just go through and read it real quick. No, go through and read your email really quick. Just look at it because I started trying to connect in because your second question is a little bit of a toughie. Oh, not toughie. It's just one of those ones that it feels more delicate and there's a little bit more gravity to it. And I don't want to mess it up. So if you can just read what I wrote, what I was sort of connecting in with, and I would like to, on that one, just read a picture. If you wouldn't mind sending, if you have a picture of your friend, if you wouldn't mind sending it to me, it would be really helpful. Because it's like kind of not a $5 question. It's kind of like a, so it will help make it a little bit easier for me. Like quicker. Reading pictures is really super quick for me. Thank you. And read what I wrote and see if it makes any sense. If you can just validate any of it. If you're like, yeah, you're connecting with his energy. I went to the mall yesterday looking for one of my daughters has sensory issues, and she has like a school 5th grade concert. And I went looking for clothes for her to wear. And basically she just like soft, stretchy, comfy clothes, no tags, nothing like that. And like finding a skirt for her and a shirt for her, like apparently buttons are not acceptable. And she's a procrastinator. And like, it's like, so I went to the mall, and I hate the mall. Like I will take my kids to the mall, but it's like a weekday. Like it's always like very quiet. That's the only time I will go. And so like weekends, especially Jersey, I don't know why Jersey is like really busy in malls, but weekends, and then it's holidays. And I was like, oh my God. So I put my headphones in and I listened to the Smart List podcast. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's like, it's super funny. It's really good. And I listened to the Sandra Bullock and the Dave Grohl, because I love Dave Grohl. Just love him. And I like Sandra Bullock too, obviously. She's really funny. And it was really, it was like my saving grace, because it was very people-y and there was a lot of people. And so that's like a lot of energy. And then there's like not always the best energy, because people are like, the lines are long and people are just annoyed and stressed. And so, but I had to go find a white t-shirt that had no buttons. Which, honest to God, finding a t-shirt in the wintertime in New Jersey is like a plane, was like not easy. People are sold out of them. It's not fun. My child has no idea how much love and devotion I have for her. Okay, let's go. So did you send an email? Let me see. Got it. Nice. Okay. It's loading. Did you read your email? Did you read your email? Did you read your email? Okay, y'all. I want to show this picture, but I won't, because you haven't given me permission. But I wrote her an email. Holy shit. Okay, so yeah, you guys have no idea. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna just send. So earlier today, I was connecting in with Louise. Asked about her friend who went missing 12 years ago, and his name is Chris. And I wrote her this. I said, "Can I ask a favor? I don't normally do this, but I feel like your second question about your friend Chris is very heavy. I don't Google, so you know. Ha ha ha. Actually, I love that. But usually when I do a reading of this sort, I ask for a picture to read the energy. Is there any way when we go live, you would mind emailing me a picture of him? Right now, as I am trying to tap in, my stomach hurts and I feel really nauseated. I also am seeing a heavier set gentleman, but he's not heavy in this picture, but I was seeing like a really round face. And I said, and the hair is blonde, but it feels more like he has frosted tips. Would he have gone missing when this was a cool hairstyle, or did he have his hair that way? I am also seeing rosy cheeks. Can I have permission to show his picture? Oh, I can show it. Okay, y'all, she just sent this. So I sent that email at 1:43. She just sent me this now. I do not know Louise, but that is her friend Chris. He's laughing. So I just asked, was he a bit of a pothead? Like in my head, and I heard stoner. So that was him. That was not me. Did he smoke a little? Oh, nice to meet you, Chris. Okay. Totally. Okay. I'm getting this stomach thing again, like this really nauseated thing. So the way it felt to me earlier was much. I don't feel like there was foul play with his going missing. It feels like to me, would the area he have gone, ugh, stop. Sorry, I just don't want to keep feeling like I'm going to throw up. Um, would the area, he's very funny. Like he has a very funny, fun sense of humor. It's the feeling I get is like, so it's like, I feel like my feet are crunching on leaves. So like either a wooded or an area where there would have been like a lot of leaves under my feet. Was he a little bit heavier at the time of like when he went disappearing? Was his face a little bit rounder? I guess it could have been this round. That's so crazy to me. That's so mind blowing. I feel like I'm intoxicated. I feel like, or like maybe I got slipped something or I took something or whatever, because I don't feel like it's just one thing I'm on. My nose is itching really bad. So I would put that at probably some kind of narcotic. And I only say that because when you come off of, and I know this from nursing, not from personal experience, when you come off of like some narcotics will make your nose itch. So it feels like a combination of stuff, right? So, fuck, stop. Sorry, it's not feeling very good. He's excited and I'm excited. So I'm like, okay, just like, um, I feel like I'm stumbling through like woods or something and like pass out. Like, so I don't feel like it's foul play. I don't feel like and there's water nearby. And I feel like, so the time of year would probably be fall. I don't feel like it's quite winter, but it does feel chilly. But I feel like, so like I went to antidepressants. There's a narcotic involved that's making my nose itch. And I'm saying that because when I was it probably was antidepressants, but this feels like something not antidepressant. Like, I don't feel like he took his own life. Okay. I don't feel like that at all. Like it's an unintentional, like too much alcohol, too many other things mixed in and just like passed out. And either I don't know if it's like, it doesn't feel like this, like maybe throwing up and then aspirating, but it just feels like it's a combination of all of this stuff and passed out. And I'm in a place where I maybe wouldn't have been found. I don't feel like I was at a party and there was a lot of people around. It feels like I wandered away from a lot of people. And I don't know if he's near water or not, like, meaning I felt my feet at a point, like kind of like in a little bit of wet soil, like muddy-ish. And there does feel like there's water nearby, like a lake or something. I'm not sure that anybody found him. I don't get the feeling that I got found. I feel like it's like I wandered. I wish I could say like this is exactly it. It's just what he's showing me from those moments. That's kind of how I feel. He's saying life of the party. So it's interesting to me because I feel like even though he was on antidepressants, I feel like no one would have known that unless they were really close with him because he masked really, really well what he was feeling. And I also feel like Shit, there was something else I was going to say. Tell me what you wanted me to say. Oh, he really believed in aliens and stuff. Like, so I think that's why it's easy for him to kind of come through. Like, he totally thought this kind of stuff was cool and like the possibility of things. I feel like very, very smart, a very brilliant mind, but couldn't get his stuff together. I would lean towards him having like ADHD or something and having it either be undiagnosed or untreated. And it feels like because of that disorganization in his brain and the disorganization, it made him feel like there was something wrong. But it's almost like he's telling me the depression was a symptom of like the ADHD. And I feel like he wasn't hyperactive ADHD. It might have been a combined, but it was more so inattentive. But it just felt so like he felt so, it's a like disorganized feeling to where it was like he was really hard on himself about it. And like that's sort of what led to the depression, more of like not feeling good about himself. I also feel like he makes me feel like maybe dad was an alcoholic. And he goes, I'm okay. I'm better off. But he goes, I mean, I'm not, but I am, right? So like he's not trying to dismiss it and I'm not trying to dismiss it, but like the gravity of his loss, but he's like, I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah. Did his dad actually break his finger at a point? Because I don't know why he just brought me to this and like I did this weird. He actually goes, my dad was such a piece of shit. He just keeps saying over and over, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. So I don't feel like he took his own life. I don't feel like even though he partied a lot, I don't feel like he actually had like a like I feel like he liked to party, but I don't think he was like sitting around like tossing them back. It literally just feels like I wandered away from everybody and sort of like was so drunk I got lost kind of thing and like just was like there was just so much in my system that it like I passed out and then just didn't wake up. So it reminds me of like I had girlfriends in college who we would joke around that they would just like you had to keep an eye on them because they would like one of my girlfriends would just like slip out the door and we'd be like, "Where'd Jill go?" And it's like feels like that. Like he just kind of quietly slipped out the door and we were like, um, I don't know if they call that the Irish goodbye or what they call it, but like she just was like gone. No, I feel like he was really, really sweet. I feel like he genuinely loved and cared about people. And he's saying, I genuinely loved and cared about you. I feel like you guys drifted apart a little bit, and he's kind of like, it's okay though. Like, don't feel guilty about that. So it could be that someone drugged him. It could be that, but it just feels like, again, I liked to party. So it feels like I said, it feels like a combination of things. I have a lot of Canadian people on here. Thank you for supporting me, Canada. don't know what that is. Okay, so then your other question, are you okay? Are you good with that? And we'll look at your other question. It's okay. Life is a little heavy sometimes. It's not always just light and airy fairy. And I don't know. I had to deal with that as a nurse too. But it is what it is. Don't apologize. I was glad I could connect you two. I'm grateful he came through so clear. So they're sort of focusing a little bit more on job, and I feel like a job change soon within maybe the next year or so, but it doesn't feel like anything you can't handle or anything that's like shocking and surprise. Like I don't feel like I get fired. I feel like it's just a shift. So it may not even be like a shift in like where you're working, but just a shift in position. And I'm not picking much up on love. And I don't know why that is. Sometimes they don't want to talk about that. Sometimes they want to talk about what they want to talk about. And sometimes when you think things are a breeze, they're really not. So I always teach in my psychic development circle that like, the harder it's actually harder to do a general reading than it is to do a specific question because there's so much that could be there. So just the way they're showing me about your job is just like it's not like, I don't feel like it's a huge, like I don't feel like I'm going from this job all the way over here to this job. It just feels like a movement. So it may just be that like it's a position change within the company or wherever you're at, or it feels like a lateral move like to another company. So it doesn't feel like something you can't handle, and it doesn't feel like this big upheaval and there's like a lot of tension or reset around it. It just feels like a natural progression. Hi, Donna. Okay. And that feels like, I mean, it doesn't feel that far out. It feels like probably by March or April. So I want you to look at being single for a decade. Why so close-lipped on the romance? Oh, that's like a whole thing. Okay. I'm like, so that can move into when sometimes we're not like, even though we're available, we're not emotionally or physically emotionally or energetically available, right? So spirit has you focused on spirit. So it may be that you're almost energetically blocking yourself. Sorry. If you research, and I talk a little bit about it, I don't focus so much on specific person, but it's the same thing as manifesting anything. if you look at why do you want to be in a relationship, if you ask yourself, okay, why do I want to be in a relationship? It'll sort of start helping you figure out what you're blocking. So I want to be loved. I want to have companionship. I want to feel like somebody adores me and loves me. It's like you don't need somebody outside of yourself to do that. So then you work on self concept. And then it sort of starts to open up the flow. And once you feel like in this really space that you're worthy and deserving of the love and you're giving yourself the love, then you recognize that they're only reflecting to you what you have inside of yourself, like how you feel about yourself, to share joy. So, but do you need to be in a relationship to share joy? And can you find joy within yourself? And then once everything sort of like starts to be, you feel whole and complete on your own, then they're just sort of reflecting to you. Because anybody outside of us, if you look at the law of assumption, anything, any experience is just reflecting to us, not who we are as a person, but how we feel about ourselves as a person. So that's the short end of that. Katie, you want to start typing your questions? And then Donna, there's a link below, and KK might be able to add it in for, it's $5 a question, and I donate 100% right now this time of year to charity, and my charity of choice is always the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. My dog is pooping blood. Is this colitis or another issue, something serious that is making him poop a lot of blood? No boxers get colitis from stress. I have meds for colitis. I feel like it's the colitis. I don't feel like it's anything else. Obviously, you need to follow up with your vet because I'm not a veterinarian and I don't have a way to rule that out, but I feel like it's colitis. I don't feel like there's cancer or anything else going on. It also feels like he has a really sensitive stomach to his diet. So there's something in his diet that feels like it would be like the equivalent of being somebody having like a milk allergy or a lactose intolerance. So is there something that you have given him as a treat recently that's a new treat? Because it doesn't feel like it's necessarily his regular food. And then it may be like, I think that they say, but obviously check with your vet, like the white rice and the boiled chicken or whatever. You're giving him hamburger? Stop giving him hamburger. Oh my God, what did I just say? Wait a second. What did I say? I said it was like someone who has a lactose issue or a dairy issue. And I'm like thinking, because why would you give your dog dairy? Stop feeding him cheese. Don't give the cheese. He likes the cheese, but his tummy doesn't like the cheese. Okay? See if that clears it up. I don't think I ever gave my dog cheese. Like I shoved the pill. Like if she had pills, I just shove them down her throat. But that's like, I think that comes with being like a nurse to babies where you're just like, you're going to take this. Like, I mean, I wasn't like that with babies, please. We did a lot of like pudding and G-tubes. No more cheese. Yeah, try and cut out the cheese and see if that helps. What do you see me moving out of Jamie's place and into a better living environment? Jamie is the one who, I'm trying to remember if this is you or not, who like is very particular about the living situation. Three months. So I don't know, when's your lease up with him? And I don't feel like you're burning down the bridge or anything like between you, but it feels like shutting the door on that. Like even if it's even if it's cheaper, it's like, there's other, what do they call them? Inherent cost or something like that, where it's like, it's not necessarily the actual rent, but there's this emotional payment you're making. Yeah. Like this emotional, you'll have a place to go in February. I don't feel like it's like, oh my God, I'm like, whatever. And I even feel like it might be even something that comes up like on, I don't know, I don't want to say Craigslist, but like whatever the equivalent of that is of finding a roommate. Or like through the grapevine, you find out somebody needs a roommate and it's like the perfect fit for you, but it feels like it's like, and you may even be picking up like a sublease, like someone else has to move out for a job. They're moving jobs. And so it's like you're picking up somebody's and you're subleasing from somebody. You'll be able to afford it. It feels like an easy, and yes, it feels like much lighter and airier, and it may be a female that you're moving in with. I should say it feels like it's a female that you're moving in with. What's your other question? Will be meeting my life partner in this year in 2022. Hang on. I just want to check the PayPal. Will you be meeting your life partner in 2022? So it's not like just a straight, I meet my partner and we start dating and it feels like yes, but not until the end of 2022. And then it feels like you're not dating right away. Like there's stuff that kind of keeps you apart, but it's when you meet. Sorry, I'm just checking my PayPal because some of you said, I think someone said that they paid. Okay. So let's see. I need to add on Lisa, a Lily for 2. Amazing Me for 2. Julia for 2. And Regine. Hang on. Let me read Regine's little message here. Oh, happy holiday. Thank you for the kind words. I'm really grateful you found me too, Regine. It's not about not hitting it off. It just feels like it's like there's some reason that you're not available to, or this person's not available to date. Like, so I don't know if it's distance or what, but it feels like, but you meet. I don't know. It's just this feeling of like not dating right away, but it doesn't feel like you don't like each other or you're not into each other or you're not, it just feels like not starting to date right away. So it could be that there's distance. It could be that they're still in a relationship. I'm not really 100% sure on this. Sorry. That's just the way they're showing me is like we meet towards the end of the year, but we're not really together right away. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Hope, you're up. And Debris. I turned 34 this month and I'm a single woman. I would very much so hope to have a husband and kids. Do you have stomach problems? Like as soon as I started to read that, I felt like my solar plexus just kind of go, whoa. And then I just feel a little like, it's not quite nauseous. It was just like this, like almost like acidic feeling. Sometimes related to what you eat. I don't know. So it isn't that I don't think that you'll be with anybody. So understand that when I go into this long explanation of this, it's not because, oh my God, I'm never going to meet anybody. Why is she telling me this? But it does feel like there's a lot of self-doubt and a lot of confidence issues, because this is like your solar plexus is how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you, and your self-confidence, self-concept, really. And it just feels like there's a lot of feelings of not being worthy and not being valuable, and sort of having been in a lot of relationships where you accept breadcrumbs and where you sort of always feel like you're trying to convince the other person that you're worth staying with. Does that resonate when I say that to you? I always say, does that make sense? And I'm like, well, obviously what I'm saying is translating, right? So it's not about making sense. It's really like, does it resonate? Like, does it ring true for you when I say that? Yes. So it isn't that you're not going to get married, and it isn't that you're not going to meet somebody, and isn't that it's just they're sort of saying like, so first I'm going to tell you, I heard the number 36. Second, I'm going to tell you, I know that sounds really far away. And I know it sounds like that fear of like the clock ticking that we get as women. But rest assured, in fact, I talked to my client earlier today about this. It's like you are going to have children, and stop thinking that you're going to be too old. And like, two different women in my family, different sides of the family. My one cousin didn't get married. They didn't have her first child till she was like 38, and had her third child at like 42 or 43. And my grandmother had her third child at 43. So it just feels like what they're recommending is like really working on your self concept, and your, so that when you meet this person, you meet somebody that is worthy of your love, rather than, am I good enough for them? Somebody that is deserving of the big heart that you have, and the kindness and the caring and the empathy and the willingness to go the extra mile that you do, and the willingness to be so selfless. They're sort of saying like, it's time to shore up your own boundaries and what you're willing to tolerate, because you've been accepting way less than you're worth. And it's sort of like, they're like, you need to do this so that you don't settle for less than that, anything the best. Settle for less than anything but the best. Hi, Rakdan. Okay. So it's working with self-affirmations. And I know this is like, it's like the cheesy Saturday Night Live. You're probably too young for this, but it's like, I can't remember the guy's name that did this character, but he would like look in the mirror and he'd be like, I am good enough. I am smart enough. And gosh darn it, people love me. And it was like a black background. Everything was like the lights, like everything was dim in the back and black in the back. And it's just him with a spotlight on this chair and this like full length mirror. But that's what affirmations are, right? So it's rebuilding your core belief systems, because there's somewhere in there that you were taught that you didn't deserve to be honored. Your boundaries didn't matter. You weren't valuable, and which is not true. The messaging just happened, and I don't even know that it was necessarily intentional, but it happened. And so it's like changing that self-concept to say, like, I am worthy, I am valuable, I do deserve better. And you're not going to believe it at first, and you're going to be like, I'm a freaking nutcase for doing this. But the fact of the matter is to change any belief system, to change any habit we have. And a belief is nothing more than a habit that we've persisted in, a habitual thought that we've persisted in. So change that habitual thought to something healthy so that you shift your belief system. Okay. All right. What's your second question? Hi, Ocean. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for anybody who's new here. Please like and subscribe, share me with your friends. Make sure that if you've been here for a while, make sure that you didn't get unsubscribed. Someone posted on here that one of my regular subscribers who's been with me for a while said she somehow got unsubscribed. So, yeah, follow me on TikTok for little spiritual tidbits. Yeah, Kelly, you have to purchase a reading. It's $5 a question, and 100% is being donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, because every dollar provides for 3 meals there. So a little goes a long way. I currently live in Atlanta. I moved back here to be close to my family, but now they are all moving away. I'm curious if you see me ending up anywhere else too. So I heard two things. So I heard North Carolina, and I also heard Nashville. I don't feel like you're going to Europe or anywhere really too far out of, is that the Mideast? Not the Mideast. That's wrong. As I came out of my mouth, I was like, no. Yeah, I don't feel like you're moving. Like, I don't think you're going to Florida, or I don't even think you're going as low as Southern Georgia, because I think Florida and Georgia border, right? You used to live in Nashville. Okay. So I feel like it might be North Carolina first and then Nashville. And it feels like a job or something brings you over there, or your family over there. So your family feels a little dysfunctional, I got to be honest, and it might be a blessing that everybody's moving away. Mallory, you're up. And then we're going to close the list soon. So if you haven't made your payment, make it quick, because I'm going to be closing the list soon. Since I'm moving, I feel like I'm moving a little slower today. That is so crazy about his hair and his face. Like, I just am. Oh, wait, hang on. I got rocked on here. Hang on. One for rocked on after Regine. All right. Oh, I'm glad you like my humor. I always feel like I just giggle at my own jokes. So, Mallory is next. Oh, Devery. No, Devery, you're next, dearie. I'm sorry. You were so patiently waiting. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So, Devery, you go, and then I'll answer Mallory's. Let me just look at Mallory so I can remember. What's going on right now? What do you see for me this week? Okay. And then Devery, if you want to give me yours. That way I don't have to scroll back and try and find Mallory's when I forget it. You weren't here last week, Devery. We missed you. I didn't get to do as many lives as I wanted to do on manifesting this week. It's just been a little chaotic. Did you go into something else more fitting? You're gonna don't shoot the messenger. I don't feel like you make a big change for 2 years. There's going to be, and let me fix this. There's going to be a shift at work. So I don't know if it's a job change or if it's something within where you're working in 2 months. But then in 2 years is when I feel like is when you actually make that career jump. So I don't know if it's because you have to go back to school and get a little bit more training in something else. So, or certification in something else. But it feels like that's when you make the shift. And I want to say this too. So yes, it's good to have a blessing. It's good to recognize that you're able to have a job, but also so I'm gonna use this example. A dear friend of mine, she and I, she started a new job, and she and I went out to breakfast one morning, and we were talking, and she said, yeah, there's just this one woman, and there's always that person at work. And I was like, okay, let's dig in. So I was listening to her, and I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, everybody loves her. She works great in all the other areas, but in this one area, it's like she won't do her work. I said, okay. And I said, and then we kind of pulled out that's like, well, my friend feels like she's having to do all the work. And I said, and let me ask you this. Do you feel like you're the person who has to always do all the work? Like if things land on you, you take the responsibility for it, that everything's going to fall apart if you don't do it, all of that stuff. So we were sort of talking about that. She's like, yeah. So I was like, the thing is there's always going to be that person to show up and play that part and fulfill that belief system that you have, that it's your responsibility to make sure things get done, to make sure things don't fall apart. So it doesn't mean every single person in your life is going to show up that way, but there's always going to be one person. It's whoever can play that part the easiest. And I'm like, she's just the person who can play the part the easiest. So recognize that things will not fall apart if you don't do it. And someone else needs to take responsibility for their lack of not doing what they need to do. So it feels like, and I say this with lots of love, there's always going to be those people that show up to play those parts that are difficult. So sit and think about what it is what bothers you about them. And then I want you to reflect and look at what your belief systems are around them, because I promise you, even if you leave that job and you find the perfect job, there's always going to be somebody there that plays that part. That's and I also say it with lots of love and compassion, because I have my own stuff that I deal with when it comes to belief systems around stuff and trying to struggle on how do I get past this block and how do I move through this and what's the best approach, because I see that this is my sticking point and it's a learning lesson for me. And so and that shows up with either people you work with. And I reflect back on people I worked with where I was like, oh, so work change, I see again, something shifting within where you're at in 2 months, but a career change and actual is feels like it's a couple of years out, but it feels more because you decide to go on something where you need more sort of a certification or a licensure or something that would allow you to do the other work. Please don't be bummed. Okay. That's one question. What's your second question? I was told to get a dog for my loneliness, but if I did that, it wouldn't be fulfilling. So I want to know if there's a definite time for a life partner, or am I at this point wasting my time with it? No. I also think it's funny when people get a dog. I'm like, a dog is like getting a child. something that lasts, like as a toddler, for, depending on the size of dog you get, 10 to 15 years, maybe more. I always think that's interesting. It's like, why don't you just have a baby? Like, what? um, so they're kind of being annoying about this. So they're like, you're not wasting your time, but you're wasting your time. So you're not wasting your time by having the dream of wanting what you want. I was listening to this Abraham Hicks thing the other day, and it was like you shouldn't be satisfied. We're like, oh, I have enough, right? Because they're like your entire experience here is about expansion and creation, expansion and creation, expansion and creation. And so it's okay to say, like, I want what I want and I want more. But knowing that it all comes from within, like your happiness doesn't, like if you get a dog, that's not going to make you feel less lonely. You can be in a relationship and feel completely alone. You can be married and feel completely alone. So it's not like this thing outside of you that's going to remove the loneliness from you. You have to go within yourself. And recognize that also they're sort of saying, like, this one person isn't going to fulfill you in every single way. So to think that you're going to meet this person and then all of your needs are going to be met and all of your emotional needs are going to be met, and they can't play every single part. So it's like, in the meantime, while you're waiting for a life partner to come along, as I'm saying this, they're bringing in like that it's not as far out as you think. Go make friends. Go find stuff. Go find activities to keep yourself like engaged and involved, and like it should be like, I don't need them, I choose them. And it's sort of like, so when I say this, like give up, it's sort of like sometimes when you let go of the need to control the way it happens, that's when it sort of like just falls in your lap. So I was struggling a lot with, and this is not as in a partner, but I didn't say you won't ever have a partner at all. But they're sort of saying, like, by feeling this need of like focusing so heavily on not having one and where is it and why isn't it happening, they're like, it's just keeping it out there. It's just keeping it out there. So they're sort of saying, like, let it go that you're focusing on it and just go do the things that make you happy. Just focus on doing things that make you happy, that bring you joy, that, and without, so it's like find a group of people that share the same interests, or, just start doing things that make you happy. I was really focused on numbers and subscribers and all of that. And they were sort of like, I got this tarot reading from this lovely woman, Lori, who's one of my circle sisters. And she was like, just like, let it go, quit like holding so tight. And so I finally was like, whatever, like, F it. Like, and then like all of a sudden, like 3 people like were like, hey, we want readings. And then I was like, maybe my numbers aren't supposed to come here. Maybe like whatever. Like I just started just doing stuff for fun and not worrying about it. And things started moving. So I don't know, not the numbers here, but like, and I just like the TikTok things. I was so reticent to do it. And then I was like, whatever, I'll just try it. And I really enjoy it. I don't like watching TikTok, but I like putting my videos on there. I don't know. It just sort of like, it's like, let go of the pressure on yourself that you have to be in a relationship or this is the thing that's going to fulfill you, or I'm not going to feel this way until this comes along. Because you know what? Like, it's like keeping it out there. And also because you believe that, then that is what it is. Yes, you will have a partner, but they're sort of like trying to show you how to let go of the need to have one right now. Okay. All right. So Mallory, let's go. Can you time them out or can you remove them? Okay. Oh, Mallory wanted to know this week because things are a little chaotic. And just so you know, they're telling me things will be chaotic for you for like throughout the end of the year. And I feel like until the second week of January, and then it starts to calm down. So did your refrigerator, like, I think it's your refrigerator that broke, but some appliance broke. Just feels like there's like stuff going wrong in the house, and then like trying to schedule and figure everybody out and figure out how to get things replaced. And then I keep hearing like my husband's in construction, and he's telling me about like lead time on certain things are just taking forever. He's like, things that would take 2 weeks are taking 8 weeks. And they're sort of saying like, this is all out of your control. So stop stressing out about a lot of it. Like, just, it's like, like just chip away to one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Did your foot get exacerbated again? Because they're just saying like it will be okay. It was like you overextended yourself, or you got an old fridge taken away last week. Okay. I'm like, why did they show me a fridge? And they keep talking about nachos. So I don't know what nachos have to do with anything, but who doesn't like nachos, right? You start PT Wednesday. Okay. It'll be okay. And it might feel like it's a little bit worse, but it'll get better because I feel like it's like overdoing it a little bit, but not in a bad way. Your PT obviously won't make you really overdo it. All right, Linda, do you want to ask your questions? And Allie? Nachos are your favorite food? Have some nachos. I remember when I was probably in middle school. I was babysitting with my friend Lindsay, and my mom happened to not be working that day or something. I don't know, but she brought over, and it was like I'd never had this before. And I was like, oh my God, like all this stuff to make. She called them Irish nachos. So she'd like steak fries, and then like we put like nacho fixings on it, like because Texas, hello. And just like I was like, oh, my mind was blown with guacamole. And what's your theme for 2022? And Arjun's Canadian work visa is delayed. Is there a new timeline that you see for him actually getting the visa? Okay, so theme of 2022. Getting out of your own way. So I'm laughing because the song is not appropriate to sing, but it's like, whoa, get out the way, get out the way. It's probably from like the late 90s, early 2000s, because I'm pretty sure I listened to it in college. And I graduated in 2001. So uh, I'm pretty sure I heard it in the bars. So it's like, feel like get out of your own way. That's the theme of 2022 is learning to get out of your own way, say yes, and stop giving yourself excuses of why something can't happen or why it's too hard or why it's too difficult. You know that song. Okay. So yeah, that's a song. Yeah. Oh, I still need to forward your thing. I forgot to do that. Forgive me. I just got a little behind. And Arjun's Canadian work visa. I don't feel like it's delayed that much. It feels like it's delayed around till after the first of the year. So like maybe February, and then they start putting the paperwork through. So I feel like by May he should have it. And it feels more like just lack of physical bodies to do the work versus him having a problem with his paperwork. Allie, you're up. Then Starry Sky, then Lily. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. I don't know the real song. I was just singing it. Why is Canada such a theme on my channel? I'm fine with it. I like my Canadian supporters. Not that you're Canadian. I know you're not Canadian. I really do. Like, all of the people that have joined my psychic development circles are so kind and so wonderful. I really enjoy doing that. So if any of you want to do that, it's like, it really is a really nice time. So I like it. KK's my Canadian-ish. They seem so non-threatening too, because it's like the Maple Leafs. The Leafs are a hockey team. Like they sound friendly. Where I went to college, it was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So we had like some Canadians who had played in juniors, which is like minor league hockey, I guess. I don't know. And then they came to college, so they were on our college team. And even they were like, I mean, they were still dogs like hockey players are. Sorry, hockey player fans. They had puck bunnies. I followed them around. But they were like nice dogs. I don't know how else to explain that. Also weird was that like it'd be 50 degrees and they would bust out like they were in their shorts and no shirts. And like one guy was like sunning himself with like an actual, like one of those, like, I don't know, it looked like an aluminum foil cardboard thing, like whatever. But he was like, it was 50 degrees. And that's how you know you're a Canadian. Yes, not like the Devils. I don't know. Okay, so Allie, are you here? Did you ask your question? Allie and Starry Sky and Lily, you guys are up. Or ladies are up. Most of the hockey guys I knew were nice, but they were just dogs when it came to women. But they were nice guys to hang out with and have beers with. Oh, you're here. I'm sorry. I wrote, you want to go Amazing Me since no one else is popping up? Go ahead. That's fine. Move your feet, lose your seat. You know what I mean? In my last reading, you said my boyfriend will be here on the 12/19 approximately, and we're supposed to move in together. See this move going. I'm nervous moving in with him and merging families. Okay, I don't remember the last reading. Is the plan still for the 19th? Can you validate that? And can you give me his first name? Wait, who's not telling you much? Do you know his first name? Oh. What is he not telling you? I don't I know I'm the psychic. I should know, right? Okay, so they're saying they're like, it's going to be fine. You need to let your fears go. There's also a little bit of a fear of it. There's it's almost like a fear of abandonment issue that'll create attachment issues. And that's not because of any ex-boyfriend. That actually feels like all the way from childhood. And so it's sort of like work on you, focus on you, do the affirmations, do the self-concept stuff so that it doesn't create rockiness there. Any relationship, even if you have those issues, because we all have issues, all right? We all come with our big suitcase worth of garbage. We were, whether it's from family or society or whatever belief systems that we have. And so we all have to work through those. So it doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect all the time, but if you can focus on like your affirmations and your self-concept and finding stability within yourself, then when the stuff comes up, that's like you see behavior clearly. Like if you feel good about yourself and you're strong within yourself and you're confident about yourself and your worth and your value and all of that stuff, then when somebody does something kind of garbagey, you see it more clearly instead of allowing it to twist you into like a gaslighting situation. So you keep doing those affirmations and you start doing the affirmations of like, it's going to be fine. I'm okay. It'll all work out just fine. Because I do feel like it will be all of those things. I do feel like it will be okay. But I feel like the kicker is not that he's going to be such a jerk. It's that you're going to create and manifest something because of your own fear of abandonment stuff. So keep doing the positive affirmations. Keep like when you start to get into that runaway anxiety train, it's like, no. Remember, we talked about this. We're okay. We're safe. Because the fact of the matter is when you get really confident, it's like, even if I don't have him, I know I'll be okay. Would I maybe have heartbreak? Sure. But I will be okay. Because I am enough, because I am worthy, because I am valuable. So how do you know if it's coming from your higher self? Like, oh my God, something's really wrong, right? So I'm going to teach you a little bit on connecting with your intuition, where you're like, because when we have a fear of abandonment, our worry train brain goes, it's going to happen again. I'm trying to protect you. I'm just keeping you safe. Don't worry about it. Like that's our worry train brain, right? So it's going like, it's your lower self. It's doing all these things that kept you safe and kept you insulated and protected for a long time. Hi, King. It's good to see you. It's been a long, long time. So what you need to do is know that that's the worry side of you. If it's your intuition, it's going to be calm. It's going to be very quick. And so even if it's bad, it's going to be quick and calm. We all have a worry train brain. It kept us safe for a really long time, but then it like starts to like be really super dysfunctional when we get like as we move through life and we're like, oh wow, this is kind of like fucking with me now instead of keeping me safe. Pardon my French. Okay. So because I've had those same issues. So I'm coming from a place of love and compassion. I've been there. So it's they don't serve you. Like, it did keep you safe for a long time, but it doesn't serve you anymore. So then you have to, like, when it is your intuition and it actually is something like red flag, like something's not right here, it's always super calm. And it's like, yeah, that's just not sitting right. And it's like a very natural thing. But if it's not your intuition, if it's like your worry train brain, it's going to feel anxious. It's going to feel like really, really repetitive. It's not going to go away. But where your intuition is like, quick, it's there and it's gone. And it's just like a solid, like, calm knowing. So, like, I like to personify things because it helps me get through stuff. Like, it helps me to have that conversation instead of like being like, oh, I can't stop thinking about it. Da, da, da. It's like, no, if I have that conversation, it sort of like calms that part of me. And then it's like sort of like reparenting yourself. It works for me. It's a trick that works for me. But they're just sort of showing me that it's like, so people will say when they ask me about relationships, should I be with this person or should I be with that person? I'm like, well, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I'll tell you where your difficulties are going to lie within the relationship, what they're showing me, what's going to come up. And for you, it's going to be not that he's such an awful, terrible person. It's that you're going to have these abandonment issues that show up, and it will create discord within the relationship, and it'll make it not a great. Okay. I've been well. Thank you, King. I hope you've been well too. All right. What is your other question? Because you paid for two. Allie, are you here? Starry Sky, are you here? Lily, are you here? There you are. I'm not helping you fix it because I can't fix you. I can't do like people want to come to people like me and have them tell them like everything and like everything's going to be perfect and do the work for me, right? Because that's like what we like. If we don't have to do the work, wouldn't it be nice, right? But the reality is like we really can only do our own work. So I can show you what would be beneficial, but at the end of the day, you have to make the choice to do that and do the work yourself. So I can show you what they're showing me and the tools and stuff like that. Just giving advice, right, to make the process. Yeah, sort of like, or insight. I mean, it's like, this is what they're telling me. And you know what? I really believe that we go to the readers that are meant for us, right? So, and remember that we're all just filters. It's not like I know everything that there is to be known in the whole world. And I don't always see things perfectly. So, like, I had a dream and I saw my grandmother's house, but it wasn't quite my grandmother's house. And I couldn't figure out why it looked weird. Well, then like years later, just recently, my cousin went into the house because her father passed away, and he had been living there and he had changed several things. And I was like, oh, that's what I was saying. And then she actually showed me a little bit of my other cousin's house. And I was like, oh, that's that weird house that I couldn't figure out why there was a set of spiral staircase in the kitchen, but it didn't seem to go anywhere. Well, they had shut it off because somebody's living upstairs. Like, it was really interesting to me. So I can't always make sense of the way I'm seeing stuff, but it makes sense eventually. And we're filters. So like if you go to another reader and they haven't done the work, maybe they wouldn't get this information. They'd be like, oh my God, it's going to be terrible. Well, that's not helpful. And I'm sort of all this like I want to be helpful. I want to help you empower your own journey rather than just give you information. Okay. And then your other one is just a general, what do you need to know for the month of December? So all they're saying is you're on track, just relax. It's sort of kind of pairing with this other thing of like learning to relax, learning to let go and move with ease. And if you notice, we're seeing a little bit of a theme here tonight. So there's a lot of people who need this message and need it to be repeated. So it's just like, why, wow. I think this is metaphorical, but like, you know, where you get a new item and they're like, there might be like a little fine piece of plastic over it and you have to remove it. But some people will leave the plastic on to like protect it longer or whatever. And they're like, it's okay to remove the plastic. It's sort of like, you're not going to prevent all the scrapes and scratches and bruises and all the things in life. Like, no matter how you try to protect something, like you're going to go through stuff. So it's okay to remove it. You're not going to like break and fall apart. Biking. That would be nice. Thanks for joining. You have a wonderful day too. Lily, I'm so sorry about your kitty. She is okay. See her name again. Twixie. Was Twixie hard of hearing in one ear, in the left ear? There's something with my stomach feeling off and my throat feeling off, but it's weird because I feel those things, but then I like, did they do a necropsy? What do they call it? Necropsy? Like a kitty autopsy? Maybe she had something going on in her ear, but I almost feel like there would have been like maybe a large kidney stone or something like that. Where like if the kidneys aren't right, it can cause stomach issues. And then I don't know, there's like a weird blood pressure connection to that. And that would be more the liver, but I don't know. This is like, it doesn't feel like it would have been anything that you could have prevented or fixed. So that's what, like, I was getting like a blood pressure thing. So they said like the throat, the stomach, the throat, there's some weird like pressury thing. And then I was actually hearing like a heart attack, but I'm trying to figure out how the other things are connected in. So there was more than one thing going on, but I don't feel like you would have been able to fix it, even if you had like, she had acted in a way that would have given you forewarning. So I don't feel like seizure though. But it feels like but it doesn't feel like the heart was the actual like what was wrong. It feels like there was something wrong, like maybe kidney stuff that was going on that would make a little bit of nausea and stuff, and like this other stuff, and like I don't know, there's like it's something in that area, and then it led to the heart attack. Oh, your animals are always with you. I have a dog that she passed away. Like I had to have her put down. She had chronic kidney issues, like 10 years ago. And she was only 10 at the time. Like the minute she left, like I was holding her while they gave her the 2 injections. And then like she went limp, and like the vet looked at me weird because I was like, okay, here, she's gone. Like right away. I was like, and we're done. And she was like, okay. It was the vet tech. Like where I was like, she's like not here. Cause I was like weird because I was like, I'm just holding a dead body. Like there's no dog here. Because it does feel different. And we were walking, we lived in Hoboken at the time, and she was just running around chasing me. And like I could feel her energetically around me. She still will greet me here. She's not around as much as she used to be, but they're still very much around. and they're fine. Like my dog was so happy, and I thought she was going to hate me and think I was the worst thing in the world. And I was a terrible dog owner. I mean, I wasn't a terrible dog owner, but I just, she just loved me because that's what dogs do. They just love you. That's what cats tolerate you. She's okay lately. Oh, and they're going to be grieving. So give them a lot of little extra love and pets. What's your other question? You're welcome. I'm sorry about your loss. There are fur people, or fur babies or fur family. Allie, you're here. What's your question? So I need Allie and I need our son Benji is left for college and does not want to return. I mean, do you blame him though? Didn't you go to college? I think I moved back to my dad's house for a summer after freshman year. And then I was like, peace out, never moving back home again. I had an apartment in college. I thought, well, what's the point of going home after that? And I was like, never. And in fact, when I worked as a student nurse intern, one of the nurses was like, everybody moves home after college. I was like, not this one. She's like, well, I was like, nope, not ever moving with my parents again. Mostly because my dad and my stepmother are toxic, but and just because I was fairly independent. Hi, Lauren. I'm having a wonderful night. I hope you're doing well too. I don't think he doesn't want to return because he doesn't love you. I just think he really loves the independence, but he's totally fine. And you know what? The fact that he doesn't want to move home and he's good being independent, that's a good sign. You did what you were supposed to do. You raised him to be an independent human being. Reread the question. What do I see for his future? Wait, he does not want to. Oh, return to college. I thought you said he didn't want to return home. Shoot. It's not forever. Don't shoot the messenger. Just because somebody doesn't want to take that path doesn't mean that it's a bad thing or that he's now going to be needy independent. 25. So I feel like at 25, he goes, I don't know if it's traditional college or if it's more about getting, like a licensure. So it just feels like something more hands-on. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like I don't feel like I'm going because I want to be a lawyer or anything like that. It just feels like, but I do feel like going back to school at 25. Things aren't the same because of COVID. I'm sorry, Lauren. Does he like to work with his hands more? It's also, so there's also this idea that like, I think it's really strange that we humans have that like, okay, at 18, you're supposed to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. And by the way, you're going to live for another 70 years. That's a lot. Loves working his hands. So I genuinely saw like a plumber or like going back to school for become a certified plumber or whatever they call it, or an electrical engineer or something like that. Good money, just not the traditional, like, oh, you need a bachelor's degree. Like, I feel like good money, ends up owning his own company, but he feels like at 25 is when he sort of decides to do that. So he's going to bounce around from jobs and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily feel like he's going to live at home alone forever. I don't know that he'll end up doing game design. I feel like some things are going to bounce him around to where he decides to do something else. And it just feels something, and I don't want to say like, oh, that's not practical, because there's lots of, shit. Look at Roblox. They're just pumping out the money. He'll be okay. And I understand what it is to worry. Ask KK. Hi, Laura. Okay. Allie, do you want to ask your question? We do all worry. We all worry about our own things. I worry about my kids. I worry about, Hi, Pinky Lee. I'm good. How are you? It is too late for now. I've closed the list already. I'm just pulling teeth to try and get Allie to ask me a question, or Starry Sky. Let's go. Let's go. Julia and Regine, you guys are up too. So if Allie or Starry Sky don't, I'll just, oh, there you are. I wanted to ask about my dad's lower back pain. Okay. What's your dad's first name again? Thanks for understanding, Laura. That's so funny. As soon as that popped on, that song, let's say Geronimo, say Geronimo. I do feel like there's nerve impingement going on. And I'm trying to think of where that is in the back. I think like I'm keep hearing L6, so I'm going to say that, but it feels like, so they showed it like all these wires coming out, even though it's nerves. But I feel like it's been exacerbated because he has muscle stuff going on that's like pulling him. Has any chiropractor or physical therapist worked with him and looked at like helping him with his psoas? Because it feels like helping to loosen up that might relieve some of the pressure. And then, because it just feels like it's cranked in the wrong because of muscle stuff. It doesn't feel like, there might be a bit of spinal stenosis, but it feels like it might actually be able to, like, if he worked with either a chiropractor or a physical therapist, that it might actually help his pain. So maybe he could just mention it to somebody. Like, could this be my psoas? Don't say the psychic said. Starry Sky, are you here? So Starry Sky, Julia, or Regine, or Rockdon, you guys can go. he's been with a few and they've been no help. So, but maybe he hasn't mentioned SOAS, because I will say that, like, I don't know that I don't know that everybody goes to that as their original. Do you see a change of relationship where my husband is very changeable, mood swings, and I don't know. Keep going. Tell me your husband's first name again. Does he have ADHD? Wait. I feel like you're there for 5 years. I don't see you moving in the next 5 years. Does Wayne have ADHD? Or did he as a kid? Yeah. So I feel like it might be good for him to research adult ADHD and what it feels like. And that might be why he has the mood swings. It's not, I don't feel like it's necessarily that, like, and I don't think he likes feeling that way. So, but I just feel like it might behoove him to start looking into that, to look at, and maybe even, there's, like, they say, like, taking omega-3s helps with it. And that can help with, like, the mood swings and all that. But looking at, like, what you can do for it on a supplement basis, what might be missing from his diet for that. You always felt like he was something, but never wants to go to a GP. Okay, so, like, just like look up, and if it's safe, because, like, so, like, I take ginkgo now, which you shouldn't take if you're on MAOIs or anything like that. So. Okay. On alcoholism. So the thing is remember that alcoholism or any substance abuse issue is a symptom of something else. So people who aren't processing other things turn to that as a self-medicating thing. It might just be worth looking at. It's like, I get that it's like, oh, he's got this, he's got that. Then you do what you do with somebody who has that, is you give them an ultimatum. And are you willing to do that? Because you have to follow through if you're going to do it. And the ultimatum is, you get help or we're done, or you get help or I move out, or whatever. I don't think it'll get to that. Sometimes it's hard for somebody to see they have a problem until they have a problem. And some days I'm not confident at work. Do you see me? It's my job before I get a new one. No, not at all. So just look up adult ADHD and like start following some people on social media that have adult ADHD, and, like, they can have these big mood swings, and they can have they can have, like, a comorbidity of having, like, anxiety and depression and things like that, but it'd just be worth looking into. I felt ADHD come through before I felt any sort of substance thing. I have alcoholism runs heavily in my family. So that always comes through very, very clearly if that's what it is. And it doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like something else. I'm happy to be wrong. I am not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not, none of those things. So this is just what it feels like. And then beyond that, you have to sort of explore that on your own and see if that's what it is. see about getting him help that he needs. If he's refusing to go to help, and it really is, it's like having that real talk with him of, I can't deal with this anymore. It's exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting. If you're not willing to get help, this is what has to be done, because it's no longer feasible for me to stay in a relationship where I feel this way. And decide, like, if that's what you want, then that's what you have to do. I'm sure he doesn't feel very good that way either. I don't feel like, so Ruck John, I don't feel like you're going to lose your job. And most women I know, and I'm not speaking like, I'm trying not to be, generalize or whatever, but most women I know, it was almost in their 40s when they finally felt like, I got this. I'm done with all the baloney. I can stand in my own power. They no longer feel like they have imposter syndrome. So whoever that lady in the office is that's trying to dominate, it just, whatever. Like, don't let it bother you or knock you off your pedestal that you're putting yourself up on, because you should put yourself on a pedestal. Don't let it shake you, because I've worked with so many women who are like that. And it's not to say that women are terrible, but there are some women who are so insecure that they feel like they need to do all of those things in order to like feel better themselves. So it comes from a place of their own insecurity. If someone's really secure in who they are and confident with who they are, they usually approach you with and I'm talking genuine confidence, like kindness, and like they're not worried about what you're doing because they're good, right? So just like in your head, be like, okay, whatever, she's just insecure. And the real story is that I'm doing a great job and she's feeling a little threatened about it. And it's not to say that you're going to ignore when you have areas for growth and learning, but it's also not to, sometimes people help in a way that make you feel less than. So that way they feel like they're, I mean, listen, I worked on this one floor. First floor, when I got out of nursing school, I was in postpartum, antepartum, GYN surgical. It was an all RN unit. It was an all female RN unit. And these women that were in their 40s, like one woman was on her third marriage, and she's like, you're going to make a great mother and a terrible wife. Third marriage. And not that there's anything wrong with multiple marriages, but it's just to say that, like, and then another woman said I would be a terrible mother, but a great wife. Like, what is that? Same floor, whatever. Like, people say, like, and it's like, what, like, who talks that way to people? Like, I don't know. People who are insecure, people like who have zero boundaries. And I just didn't get that when I was younger. And everybody feels insecure at a point. And a lot of women feel like imposter syndrome. Like, oh my God, what if everybody finally figures out that I'm not really qualified for what I'm doing? I've had it. And then I finally, once I was listening out to somebody like, oh, I'm an ordained reverend and I'm this and I'm that, I'm this. And I'm like, oh, and I've been doing this for so many years. Like, oh yeah, I guess I'm qualified to like teach other people. I guess I'm qualified to do these readings. I guess I'm qualified to say like and own it. And I'm probably definitely like undercharging, but it's okay. Like, it all comes back to you eventually. All right. So Regine and Starry Sky. Starry Sky, are you here? You just stuck out on me. Regine, are you here? Starry Sky, are you here? Anyone? Who's here? McKeegan. Good to see you. Oh, I'd love it. Come back next week. You know I'll be here. Plus 100% will be going to charity. So it's you get your question answered and some other people get their meals for however many days. Hi, Regine. A general. Okay. So I asked what you needed to know, and immediately I felt my third eye opening up, and I also felt like a weird twinge in my nose. So I don't know if you're getting more psychic smells around. And then I felt my clairaudience open up, and they're congratulating you on really learning to like trust what you're getting from them, especially on a personal level, like seeing things really clearly and following them. And they're sort of saying like, keep doing this. We're going to give you more. We're going to give you more. Keep doing this. You are headed in the right direction with what you're doing. Did you separate from that woman with your like the business partner, you whatever, and then like now you're wondering if that was like not a great idea? Because it feels like they're saying like this was a good move. This was a good move. Oh, thank you, Julia. That makes sense. Okay. So I specifically feel like getting awareness and understanding within your marriage and seeing something for what it really is, whereas maybe before you didn't. So seeing it with clarity as well. Okay. And they're just reminding you to not worry about the fallout after the big shifts happen, like to not do something. I know, double negative. Just because you're worried about like how people will react or be. It's like just do you. Just do you, follow your path, do you. You're doing just fine. Have you thought about like renting a physical space or having a physical space for your, I don't know, congregation is what I want to call it? Because I feel like you're going to eventually have a physical space that you rent for that. Hair. Okay. So I'll leave you with that. And with that, I will say goodnight to everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'll be back to do some manifesting chats. I'm trying to get back to doing these regularly. Some stuff's been going on that's not been allowing me to be as focused as I'd like to be on that. But I am on TikTok, so if you want to check me out there. All right. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you. Thank you again for the support. And if you're interested in the Psychic Development Circle, the links are below for my website. I'll see you later. Have a good one.